person. So these expenses cannot be allowed. मीन्स अगर हम कोविड का बिल दे रहे हैं उसका कोई परसेंटेज किसी के पास जा रहा है या किसी और के पास जा रहा है, it is against the public policy because you are paying from your hard money, number one. Number two, it is against the public policy. इस तरह का एडवांटेज कोई न लेने पाए, इसके लिए this time the budget has provided. Section 14A एक उन्होंने किया, means in case you have any exempted income and you are incurring any expenditure on that, then if your income is exempted, so how you can claim the expenditure? No, you cannot legally claim. And morally also you should not claim. In case your income is exempt, then the expenses which have been incurred to receive that income should also not be allowed. In that parlance, this was also done away. So ये भी एक बहुत अच्छा provision. Yes, toward digital economy, as Ashita has already covered, issuance of e-passport, 75 digital banking, digital university, all the things you have covered. I'm not covering. One thing is there: the scheme of taxation of digital assets. What is happening at present? अब देखिए, मैं आज सुबह बात कर रहा था. I was talking to one of the professionals. Nowadays, word is the different. You see the persons, all the big companies which are working for 75 years, then their turnover is only few crores. But all the new companies who are dealing in digital asset, their turnover is manifold. आप सोचिए क्रिप्टो करेंसी की, इनकेस वी आर नॉर्मली जब डिजिटल एसेट की बात आती है, वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट डिजिटल करेंसीज. नॉर्मली ये क्रिप्टो करेंसीज, you know, we in India, as per survey, we have more than 10 crores investors in India. Can you think? इतने तो हमारे टैक्स रिटर्न पड़ने वाले रिटर्न जो है एसएससीज इनकम टैक्स के नहीं है, जितने इन्वेस्टर हो गए हैं. तो मींस ऑफ कोर्स इट शुड बी सब्जेक्टेड टू टैक्सेशन. वन थिंग इज देयर इज वन कंफ्यूजन कि now the scheme of taxation of the digital asset or virtual asset has been brought in, but the question is whether this has been legalized. No, finance minister has made it very clear she will come out with a complete code and complete guidelines as regard the virtual asset. And with the taxation policy, we cannot have the feeling this business has been legalized. Government will come out with the complete paper on this, and after that we can say what will be the modalities. Digital rupee, of course, RBI to regulate digital currency from the financial 22-23. This RBI will issue its own digital currency, and of course we can legally deal in this. Yes, socio-economic welfare measures. 2 years back, government had introduced one system. Any company which is starting manufacturing production after a certain date, means up to March 23, they will be allowed concessional rate of taxation. Now it has been extended by 1 more year. The same is happening in other cases in startup also, because our Honorable Prime Minister Modi Sahab is already committed for the just giving concession to the startups. So there was concession which was given to the startup. Now that concession has been extended by 1 more year. Another thing is in case of cooperatives. Normally cooperatives are treated at par with the companies. So what is happening in case, just like in case of company, you must be aware that MAT is levied on the companies. In case this year, the companies are having some profit. In earlier years, they were having the loss. There is a provision to set up the profit and loss. But as per the MAT provision, company is liable to pay tax at the rate of 18.5%. Of course, earlier, last year it was reduced to 15% looking to the COVID condition, but it was not done for the cooperative sector. So just since cooperatives, just to bring the parity and just to rationalize the provisions of the cooperative society vis-a-vis to companies, government has reduced the. One thing, for the companies, it is said MAT, minimum alternate tax. Here is alternate minimum tax. It is AMT. So it has also been reduced to 15 years. NPS, state government, has already covered the thing. What is happening? What was the need to change? As per section 80CCD, what is happening? उसमें लिखा था कि in case of central government, they were eligible to contribute up to 14% of their income. So it was clearly written central government. अब state government वाले बोले साहब, why disparity? We are also government employees. You are restricting. For common man, it was 10%. कि आप 10% तक का जो इनकम है वो आप मैक्सिमम कंट्रीब्यूट कर सकते हैं. For the central government, it was 14%. So स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के दिमाग में था, जो एम्प्लॉइज थे वो कहते हैं why you are having disparity, why you are treating it otherwise. So इसके पहले भी 19 में भी बहुत रिसेंटमेंट था, वहां कोर्ट में केसेस भी गए, एंड इट वाज मेड एप्लीकेबल विद रिट्रोस्पेक्टिव इफेक्ट फ्रॉम 2020. Okay, exemption of the amount, this is very important also for the employees. देखिए बहुत से employees क्या हैं, they have got some amount in the name of COVID. अरे भाई COVID जो आदमी, the person who is serving an organization for last 20 years, 25 years, in case they are falling victim of the COVID, of course employers have given them some amount. अरे भाई कोविड से पड़ा हुआ उसको पैसे दो, कम से कम आज प्रॉब्लम के दिन है, इसने अभी तक सेवा की है, बट देयर वाज नो क्लास टू एग्जेम्प्ट दैट इनकम. तो इट वाज कंसीडर्ड एज परक्विजिट इन द हैंड्स ऑफ द एम्प्लॉइज, और क्या होता उस पर टैक्सेबल था. तो उन्होंने कहा नो नो नो, अगर कोविड की वजह से किसी एम्प्लॉयर ने पैसा दिए एज वेल एज कंपनसेशन अप टू 10 lakhs, अगर 10 lakhs तक कंपनसेशन से किसी को मिल रहा है, so this is exempted because of the genuine problem, because they are the victims of COVID. That is the reason it has been exempted. Yes, so these were the basic provisions. These are the basic provisions. I have already narrated all the things in short. This budget, of course, if you go through the budget, this budget is at the conclusion, I can say with the authority, this budget was the instrument of change, because this budget has brought in several procedural changes. This budget has brought in several long-term things which could impact the economy in the long term. This budget, आप समझिए इस बजट में इन्होंने इतना this government has presented a long-term vision for the Indian economy, और it was needed. देखिए बजट मैं अक्सर सोचता हूँ कि why we are presenting budget for 1 year, it should be for the at least 5 years, because businessmen and common people at least they should be sure what is going to happen in next 3 to 4 years or 5 to 6 years, because budget should not be prepared only for 1 year, because in case you are taking any commercial decision, you cannot take decision for 1 year, you are taking decision for at least 5 to 10 years. So this budget is a very good, has taken care of all the things, and it was a long-term vision for the government, and they have also introduced a lot of the things in the direction of east to do the business. Let me hope that this budget will bring a lot of good things for India, and for particularly for the young generation. They can start the business, they can make a lot of they can also start their own business, and so many other incentives are there. With this, many thanks to all of you for giving me the patient hearing. In case you have any questions in your mind, you are requested, and you can just share in the chat box so that I can give appropriate reply. And back to Himanshi.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, I would just like to add that as always, as usual, we love to hear your analysis of different aspects. And when you were delivering this speech, I was really fascinated, as not only me, all service class people are always excited to know what is coming as in terms of, taxes, what benefits, extra benefits we are going to get in terms of ATC or ATD. And I understand that somewhere the service class expectations get a little not to say, I should not say offended, but of course, we always look up to, but we understand that looking into the circumstances, it's not possible every year we get extra in ATC. So thank you so much, sir. I'll ask him. I think there are no questions right now because we have already given a lot of understanding and you have explained it so well. Yes, sir.
Dr. Divya, I have one question. I have a
sure, sir, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please, sir.
Mr. Shukla, it was just decodified all the provisions in very lucid manner. This revision of ITR for the next 2 years, whether it is with the penalty or some fees or something, or it is a free, we can just revise it without anything. There is some confusion whether we have to pay something as a penalty when we revise our budget for the next 2 years.
Sir, you have raised very valid question, sir. What they have done, they have not used the word penalties. They have chosen a very good and positive word, that is additional tax. So what they have provided, they have just categorized this upgraded ITR in 2 parts. In case we are submitting this ITR from 1 year from the end of the assessment year, we are liable to pay 25% additional tax. And in case we are paying up from after 1 year to 2 years, we are liable to pay 50% of the additional tax. There's no question of penalties, but additional tax, of course, there is a change of word. One more thing is there. It is also essential at the time of submission of the updated ITR, we are needed to pay complete tax under section 140B of the Income Tax Act. Means we cannot do like that. We are submitting the return and we are not paying the tax. We have to pay complete tax as well as interest also, sir. I'm not specifying the particular section. It is 234B and 334A. Yes, that thing also, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Himanshi, continue, please.
Thank you so much, sir, for this enlightening session. Indeed, it is a learning session with your insights. We have learned to review a budget in a better way. We would like to express our gratitude and thanks for your precious time and consideration by presenting a memento and a certificate.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker for the day is Mr. Ashito Sinha Sir. He is an IIM alumni with outstanding success in sales and spearheading strategic marketing, business operations, pricing, and digital transformation initiatives. A result-oriented professional with nearly 15 years of combined multidisciplinary experience in accelerating go-to-market strategy, digital transformation through innovation, sales and marketing, business development, and channel management. His industry experience includes passenger cars, automotive engineering, and commercial vehicle. He is MBA in Strategy and Finance from Indian Institute of Management, Lucknow, India in 2020, Innovation and Strategy Management from IESEG School of Management, France in 2019, MBA in International Business from MET International Business School in 2007. Now, I would kindly request Sir to enrich us with his impeccable knowledge.
Sir, you are mute.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Thanks a lot for the Jagran Institute of Management for inviting me for this event of symposium, and I would like to more interact with the students on this event. And really thankful to Mr. Shukla, who has brought almost all the points related with the budget. I will be covering specific on the industry outputs, what the industry expectations is there, and how the government has taken up. I would like to first share my screen for that.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I hope the screen will be visible. Very important thing with the budget 2022 overview, there is a red bag if you see. Specific, it's a red bag. This has been from the last year, Finance Minister Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman has used. This is just like a Bahi Khata where the Finance Minister is presenting what the entire business he has done for the last year and how it will be for the upcoming. But with the 2022 in the Feb, she came up with a digital Samsung tablet. It means she wanted some digital transformation. And with this, she has presented a clear vision how the industry outlook will be there in the future. And for the next 5 years, she has taken an outlook. I will be covering on basically on the 6 points. First, related with the money, banking, finance, and insurance, how they will be affected. And the second important point, which everyone has already explained on the how the expenses and the fiscal deficit is there. I will be covering specifically how to interact with the MBA students, how they can understand the fiscal deficit. Third point is related with the international business and trade. Fourth, effect on different sectors, like in the manufacturing or the digital or the agri sector, how they will behave with this budget 22. Infrastructure, and last point, I will be coming up with the human resource development. Now coming with the money, banking, finance, and insurance. The government has not recognized, but they have levied the taxes on the digital assets, that is on the cryptocurrency. 30% taxes plus 1% TDS on crypto has been levied. But they have not came up with any specific rule on the cryptocurrency. They will be coming in the future. Whereas the RBI, if you see on the left-hand side, right-hand side, I have written RBI has proposed digital currency. It means there is a loophole that whether the government will accept this cryptocurrency or not, or coming up with any legal frame or not. But they will be coming up with their own digital rupee, and that is to be issued by the government. And this can lead to an imminent e-commerce business. If the government is coming itself in the digital rupee, it means there will be a growth in the e-commerce business. Now, the third point, which is related with the post office. Till date, post office has been associated only with the courier services and a small amount of saving. But now they will be connected with the core banking system. And once they are connected with the core banking system or any type of online transfer of funds, net banking, mobile banking facilities between the post office and the bank account can be easily maintained. Now coming up with the insolvency and the bankruptcy. If you see, lots of bankruptcies has been done in government from the last 5 years or so back. So now the government is coming up with a solution for that to resolve it with the cross-border insolvency resolution. They are coming up with a specific policies on that. This is how a businessman presents his entire business, what he has done, and what are his expectations in the future. A very small thing for any like a MBA student for finance background or even with the marketing background. Once you get any type of things when you sell, then you earn a revenue, and from the revenue you minus the expenditure and you come up with the profit or loss. So same thing the government is also doing. They are coming up with a revenue, how much they are earning, how much they are going to expend, and what will be the profit or loss. In the specific in the revenue sector, how they will be earning the revenue. There are two types of modes. One is through the taxes, and the second is non-taxes. In the taxes, there are two parts: direct taxes and indirect taxes. I will be coming up again on this slide, but before that, I will be explaining how the taxes will be collected. There are specific 6 ways. One is through the corporate taxes. As Mr. Sukla has already explained, for the startup companies, there will be 0% taxes, and that will be for the consecutive 3 years. In any 10 years of time, they can avail this startup firms can avail the 0% taxes. Now with the existing companies, which are new firms, can avail this between the 15 to 22%, whereas the foreign companies can have the 40% corporate taxes. Income tax, as it has been explained in the earlier also, there are no slab change. The already like a 10, 15, 20% and 30% regime is already there. But yes, there is deduction on relief on the physically handicap for the insurance buy. If they buy any insurance policies, there are relief. And also the state government for employees on the NPS contribution, there will be a relief also. So this accounts to approx 7 lakhs crores. Corporate taxes 7.2 lakhs crores. Same as for the capital goods. If the third point you see, and the important is related with the Google tax equalization. Earlier, what happened? Like if the Google is there or the Amazon is there, they earn in the country and then pay according to the Indian taxes law. Now the government is proposing with the terms of global proposed law to have a 15% minimum taxes on all these companies. So good amount of earning will be there. Through the GST government don't make any policies. It's a separate government, like a GST council is there. So they used to make a policies for that. The government is only a firm who can collect the taxes on their behalf, and approx 7.8 lakhs crore earning is planned for the 2023. with the excise duty. Now the government is coming up with a special unblended fuel will attract rupees 2 per liter. The reason behind this taxes is because we used to buy the crude oil from the different countries. If we can have an unblended fuel with a 2 rupees 2 per liter subsidy, so the excise duty or the import bill will be reduced, and this will boost the economy. Now on the custom duty, like if you are importing the raw material for buying any type of for making any type of manufacturing product, then the imported raw material will have a decreased tax. Whereas if you buy a fully equipped, like a finished product from the, if you are buying any, like importing or buying any product from the foreign country and bringing it to the India, then the taxes, it means the earlier the subsidized taxes was there. Now the government will be reducing these benefits. It means it will become costlier. 68% defense purchase from local producers. So this will account to approx 2.13 lakhs crore. So if you see, the government has proposed that they will be collecting approx 27 lakhs crores from the taxes. And there is a pie chart which has been shown, and which shows that approx 7.8 lakhs crore, which is the highest 28% taxes collection, will be through the GST. And this amounts to approx 10.7 crores, 10.7%. In the right hand side, it has been shown that 258 lakhs crore is on nominal GDP that has been projected. So tax to GDP ratio will be approx 10.7%. And up in the clear hand, if you say for any government, 20% or more than 24% is an ideal way to collect the tax to GDP ratio. But there is a loss, it means 10.7% is there. So this is due to because of black money or the tax evasion is there. I will be coming back to the slide again. So I had recently calculated approx 19 lakhs crore that will be collected to the taxes. In that, approx non-taxes 2.7 lakhs crore. This will be through selling of goods, like from the registry, post offices. So all these things. Also, government has proposed for the disinvestment. The disinvestment of the LIC, Neelanchal Ispaats, and all this disinvestment will be there. So approx 65,000 crores collection will be there through the non-taxes. Now the government also received the interest that has given on the loan to the state government. So all this will account to approx 2.7 crores. So total revenue that will be generated is approx 22 lakhs crores, which has been shown on the left hand side. Now the government total effect is to how they expend. It means the expenditure, the total earnings they have done, how they will be expending it. So approx 9 lakhs crore government is planning to give it on the loans for this. It means the interest they have to pay, that already the loan that has been taken from the IMF or the World Bank. So approx 9 lakhs crore will be paid to the interest. Now 3 lakhs crore grant will be given to the state government for building up different type of infrastructures. Approx 3.56 lakhs crore on subsidies on the food, fertilizer, petroleum. If you see on the food, 2.07 lakhs crore subsidies are there. Like if in the south, if you get a free rice or anything, so the government used to support it. And through that, this subsidy means 2.07 lakhs crore is for the food, whereas for the fertilizer, approx 1.05 lakhs crore. Whereas for the petro products, 0.006 lakhs crore is for the subsidy. In the defense also, the government approx 68% local purchase is planned. In the salaries and pensions also, the total expenditure which the government is planning is approx 31 lakhs crore to the expenditure. So once you minus the revenue from the expenditure, a total approx 9 lakhs crore revenue deficit will be there. In this, if I am taking the 9 lakhs crore deficit out of GDP, so 3.8% of the GDP revenue deficit will be there. This is how we calculate what the government is doing. I told in the previous slide that revenue is approx 22 lakhs crore, that is to the taxes, non-taxes, whereas the expenditure on the government building up the different type of infrastructures, the manufacturing sector, 32 lakhs crore. Now 7.5 lakhs crore is borne by the government in terms of the capital goods, in the loans given to the state, different type of schemes they are coming up, or the disaster management, 7.5 lakhs crore. So on and whole, fiscal deficit of the government, it means they are on the loss of approx 16 lakhs crore. This is approx 6.4% of the GDP. If we take 258 lakhs crore as the nominal GDP of the government that has been planned for the 2022-23, so 6.4% of the GDP has been planned as the fiscal deficit. So government has already planned that there will be a loss, but they wanted to reduce the loss. Like in the last year, the total fiscal deficit was a 6.9%. And the government in future for the next 5 years, that is the vision of the government to have a fiscal deficit of only 4%. So it's a good vision, but with the expenditure, with they have shown approx 32 lakhs crore to achieve 6.4% of the GDP as a fiscal deficit is still a challenge. Specifically, how the economic growth, there is a multiplier effect. If I tell, government spends on IT parks or different type of manufacturing facilities are there with the government spend. Like for example, if they spend as a 1,000 crore, immediately the transport increases. Henceforth, the IT offices building, taxi hotels are created. Also, the steel, cement, plastic, textile manufacturing, all this increases. Because once the government spend rupees 1,000 crore, private investment is more than that to build up the different type of necessary infrastructure. And this is called a crowding in effect. A private investment is more than what the government has spent. So with all this, the share price increase for steel, cement, this is how the government used to work. If they spend a single rupee one, immediately 1.5 crore, 1.5 rupees is spent as a crowding in effect. And due to this different type of structure or the infrastructure boom is there in the economy. I will be coming up specific on how the economy is going to behave with this budget 2022. With the first, I will be taking up agri sector. Wheat and paddy, the MSP allocation is rupees 2.37 lakhs crore. And the very specific thing which the government has brought up is like for every like farming areas are there. So approximately 5 kilometers stretch, no chemical free natural farming will be promoted. So this can give a good result. SCST farming funding for agroforestry. Then in the year 2022-23, International Year of Millets is there. So government is going to promote the millets also. The specific point which I wanted to come up, the drones. Drones will be taken up in as assessment for having the crop assessment, spray of insecticide. It means in the different type of agri activity. And the government is also coming up with the ITI courses to be launched. So different type of skills related with the drones will be available in the market, so that one will be operating the drone, someone other will be in the repair or the maintenance work. So it will be given lots of boost to the Indian economy. The government is also coming up with a river interlinking. It means for the flood and relief, because if the river are interlinked, so once if the flood is there on one river, it can be connected with a different river, and so a total overall balance can be maintained. So river interlinking, so this can relieve a flood relief as well as the agri boost also. Because if any area is a drought affected, so once where the water is more, immediately it can be connected. So on a whole, there are approximately 7 rivers which are going to be connected. Ken, Betwa, Godavari, Krishna, and lots other more has been planned. Revised syllabus of Agri University, organic farming, and the fruit processing are the main topics or subjects that has to be revised in the Agri University. I will be coming up how the economy is going to behave for the MSME, service, or the manufacturing industries. Different type of portals are available for the like Udyam, registration portal for MSMEs, eSram, portal for the unorganized sectors, NCS, career related services, ASEAN. That portals will help the skill, find workers. All these portals will be interlinked so that lots of skills will be available for the unorganized and the organized sectors. And this can give lots of employment to all the citizens. Emergency credit lines. If you have seen in the last pandemic, lots of government banks has given lots of loans during this pandemic period, and they have gone NPS. NPA has also increased. Now the government is giving up a scheme with all these banks who have gone NPA to extend with more funding. This will help the bank to release their NPA accounts. CGTMSC scheme, this has been already there. It has been revamped. E-passport, embedded chips and futuristic technologies are coming in place. So I had already discussed the government is on the way towards the digital transformation. Parivesh, a single window portal for all green clearance. So it's on a way how to make the business accessible and very easy. International arbitration centers. Earlier, for any arbitration center with different nations of the country, they have to go to the world court. Now, the government is planning to set up a court within the country so that the international arbitration centers cases can be dealt here. Land records, it should be an IT base, so all that data should be tracked. This is very important point because lots of contractors or private businessman, real estate, they used to earlier fear from the business. Now, ease of doing business 2.0 has been launched. In a specific way, if I see the online bill tracking system for contractors, government procurement, because if any government procurement or the businessman or even the contractors used to fear that the payment will be pending. Now, the government has given up a plan that 35% payment to be released within 10 days. So it will give an infra boost. Surety bonds replaces bank guarantees. They will have IRDA issued guidelines. So lots of potential for the insurance companies are going to be in place because once the bank guarantee has been replaced with the surety bond. So all this with the help of the insurance sector. So insurance sector will be on the boom in the coming time. These are the sunrise sectors which has been made by the government in the upcoming budget. The 8 specific sunrise sectors are artificial intelligence, geospatial systems, drones. Already I had told that we had discussed that in the ITI also the drone course is going to be rolled out. Semiconductors, space economy, genomics and pharmaceuticals, green energy, clean mobility system. All these are the sustainable business, green energy or the clean mobility system. These are the sustainable business because government also wants to control the climates of the country or across the world. Effect of infrastructure on the transport, rail and road. PM Gati Shakti project has been rolled out. It means if you are buying any product from any foreign country, like for example, Germany, then from the Germany, it is brought to India either through the ports or through the airports. And from there to the railways and to the roads, they are brought to your end. Now integration of all these services, road, railways, airports, ports, inland and waterways. Waterways was one source which has been neglected in the country. So all this will be coming up in a specific way and got to be integrated. Online software and platforms. Now it's very easy to trace where the trucks are there. So the logistic interface platforms will be tracked easily and can be maintained. And this can also give a safety and security for the goods. Multimodal logistic path, 4 locations, so PPP model. Coming up, a specific government is going to come up with a public-private partnership. It means they are asking the government, they are asking the private entrepreneurs to invest in the public, to invest in the government infrastructure model, so the PPP model. It means the private, public, and partnership. So this is a very specific product which the government has launched. They are coming up with a PPP model. Next, I will also show they are coming up with much more models in the same term. One station, one product to help local business and supply chain. Just try to understand. For example, if you are there in the Kanpur, they are enriched in terms of cashew nuts. Different city can be enriched in terms of millet or in terms of the orange. So one station, one product will be, so the local business, they can be motivated and to boost up supply chains. All these businesses can become in the one platform and can be sold easily. So one station, one product policy has been launched. Integration of the postal and the railway networks, and across the India, 400 one-day Matram Bharat trains has been launched. So this will give entire communication easy as well as the transportation easy methods has been applied. Effect on the infrastructure, the energy, communication, health. Very specific, I had written in the top that sovereign green bonds. Earlier, I had shown that the government is coming up the PPP model, private public partnership. Now, government is again coming up with a sovereign green bond to fund energy project. It means they are inviting the like a private entrepreneurs to join with them and come up with the different infrastructure and the growth plans in the country. EV battery swapping policies has been given. It means the standardized battery management system is there. Like if you are having an EV car, then for the charging, it will take minimum 20 to 30 minutes for charging. Now the standardized battery management system will help you to immediately swap your batteries. So the time related issues will not be there. The government is coming up with a solar power, 280 gigawatt solar capacity by 2030. And this all linked with the production link incentive. The production link incentive is, it means like year on year, you give a production and sell in the market. On the basis of selling in the market, you will get some percentage incentives that will be linked. It means with the production. So it's all total. They have named it as a special name as a production link incentives. Carbon natural economy. 5 to 7% biomass pellets co-fired in the thermal power plants, so that the carbon dioxide saving will be there, approx 32 million metric ton annually. Circular economy, it means the recycling of the focus on the electronic waste, vehicle end life, used oil waste. So the total, it means the sustainable business the government wanted to come up. And now related with the communication, the government is rolling out the 5G auction, the spectrum auction, and also this will be linked with the production link. You produce it, sell it, and on the basis of every year sale, you will get some incentive. And earlier the government has introduced a revenue-based taxes to the communication industries, like to the amount of revenue they are earning. On that basis, the government used to taxes. Now, this 5% fund will be allocated for the R&D in broadband and the mobile service for the rural area. BharatNet, this was a long-term pending plan of the government. They are coming up with the optical fibers in village. So PPP model. Again, the government is asking for the private investors to invest in the government projects. Blended finance, 20% government share and the 80% private funding will be there. Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission. This is related with the health issues, where the digital records of the doctors, hospitals, patients, and records all will be maintained at one place. National Mental Health Program is launched. It means the government has recognized that during the pandemic, lots of citizens of the country has gone with the mental trauma. So they are coming up with the National Mental Health Program. Specific how the budget is going for the education and skill. E-learning, virtual labs in science and math, new software and tools for the online classes to be given to the students. Digital universities are planned. One class, one TV channel. Under PM E-Vidya, for TV classes 1 to 12, there will be TV classes. Foreign universities, and these foreign universities will be entering in the country, and this will be free from UGC or the AICT. Skilling, Days Stack e-portal for skill, resell or upskill. Online training will be given to the students. So this is how the total budget is there in terms of the conclusion. I take this as a digital transformation. The day 1st of Feb itself, the Finance Minister, Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman, has already shown with coming up with a Samsung tablet that she is going to revolutionize the entire budget. And with projects she has given, she has already shown it. With the PM Gati Shakti, productivity enhancement and investments are there. E-mobility and energy transition. Sunrise opportunity, they had made a different type of sectors for which sunrise opportunities are there. Financing of investment, and this is for PPP and the sovereign green bonds. So they are come up with a private partnerships. They are coming up to fund in the government projects. And also the inclusive development, ease of doing business, multiplier effect has been increased, e-learning and drones in ITI. So with this, all this, the government is coming up with a digital transformation in terms of budget. So this is all from me. Thanks to all. Hello. Yeah, this is all for me. For any question is specific related, they can just share in the chat board. I can reply on that.
Thank you, sir, for all your insights and wisdom. Your remarkable depth of understanding of the subject make this session an exceptionally stimulating and informative one. I request to present our guest with a memento and a certificate. Thank you, sir. Our next speaker for the day is CA Abhishek Pandey, sir. He is a practicing chartered accountant, has qualified DISA, and has undergone database management and networking courses from IIT Kanpur. He has always been involved in academic activities of the institute and also presented paper on various topics such as international taxation, accounting standards, company law at various forums, GST practice, and audit. He has been a regular guest faculty at National Academy of Customs, Indirect Taxes and Narcotics, and involved in various social activities through NGOs. He has been Secretary of CIRC of ICAI during 2019-2020 and also served as Chairman and member of various committees of CIRC of ICAI. At present, he is serving the members and CA students as Chairperson CICASA CIRC of ICAI. Recently, he has been re-elected as Regional Council member of Central India Regional Council of ICAI. Now, I would kindly request him to guide us with his knowledge and experience.
Thank you, Himanshi. Himanshi, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, you are audible.
Thank you, Himanshi. This is really wonderful that I'm taking part in the program organized by Jagran Institute of Management, Kanpur. In fact, I'm thankful to the institute that they have made me a part of it. I heard two speakers, and they were very, the topic and the way they spoke was very wonderful and enlightening the knowledge. So I have taken a part of the budget. Virtual digital asset has been made taxable for the first time. So I'll start with it. Himanshi, can you please share the first page?
Yes, sir.
Hello. Yeah. Yes, virtual digital asset. If we go to the next slide, Himanshi, please. Himanshi, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm on
Please
slide.
It started as a slide share, right?
Himanshi, please take the help of Dr. Anil and help in sliding these slides, please. Dr. Anil, please help, sir.
Ma'am, I have shared the slide in a slideshow mode. I think there is some network glitches. That is the reason.
So can we go to the next page, please? Yeah, in the budget on 1st Feb, the Honorable Nirmala Sitharaman ji has introduced taxation of virtual digital asset. She started with, there has been phenomenal increase in transactions in virtual digital assets. For the taxation of virtual digital assets, I propose to provide that any income from transfer of any virtual digital asset shall be taxed at 30%. So for last so many years, at least for last 5 years, there was a lot of confusion whether it is to be taxed as capital gain or it is to be taxed as business. Because I personally know so many people who are dealing it as taking it as a business. They are purchasing it, selling it, making profits, and they are doing nothing. This is the core business they are having. And some of the people who are investing in this as an investor, means they invest the money, then after some time they will sell it and they will make a profit, and they want to pay tax on that, just like capital gains. But now it has been made clear that it will be taxed directly at 30%. I'll give a brief of the provisions so that we can understand the basics of this taxation. Himanshi, please, next slide. Himanshi, are you there? Okay, fine. They have introduced section 47, subsection 47A in section 2, virtual digital assets, and they have defined what is actually a virtual digital asset. And according to that subsection, any information or code or number or token not being Indian currency or foreign currency, means if we are talking of virtual digital asset, it does not include currencies like Indian rupee or dollars or euro. They does not include it. Generated through cryptographic means or otherwise. So they have made it very clear that
Sir, I am
any digital asset which has been generated through cryptographic means or otherwise whatever name called, by whatever name called, providing a digital representation of value exchange with or without consideration, with the promise or representation of having inherent value or functions as a store of value or a unit of account, including its use in any financial transaction or investment, but not limited to investment scheme, and can be transferred, stored, or traded electronically. So if we go through this definition, we can notice few things, that the digital asset has to be generated through cryptographic means. It can be stored, it can be transferred, it can be traded. If it is not having these features, then it will not be considered as virtual digital asset. Then another definition is there, a non-fungible token or any other token of similar nature by whatever name called, means अगर कोई कंपनी जनरेट करती है नॉन फंजिबल टोकन और एनी अदर टोकन ऑफ सिमिलर नेचर बाय व्हाटएवर नेम कॉल्ड, बट इसके केस में ये डिफाइन करेगा. अभी सीबीडीटी जो है, सेंट्रल बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्ट टैक्सेस, इसके लिए अलग से एक नोटिफिकेशन लाएगा जिसमें सारी चीजें फर्दर एलोबरेट की जाएंगी कि नॉन फंजिबल टोकन वो किसको मानेंगे. थर्ड है एनी अदर डिजिटल एसेट एज द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट में बाय नोटिफिकेशन इन द ऑफिशियल गजेट स्पेसिफाई, मींस ये दो कैटेगरी तो उन्होंने बता दी कि जो क्रिप्टोग्राफिक मेथड से जनरेट करेंगे डिजिटल वर्चुअल एसेट, उसको आप डिजिटल वर्चुअल एसेट मानेंगे. जो नॉन फंजिबल टोकन होंगे जिसके भी डिफाइन अभी फ्यूचर में गवर्नमेंट करेगी, वो डिजिटल वर्चुअल डिजिटल एसेट माने जाएंगे. थर्ड कैटेगरी है कि जो ऊपर दो में ए बी में कवर नहीं हुए वो सी में आएंगे, उसके लिए स्पेसिफिक नोटिफिकेशन आएगा. दे विल डिफाइन कि ये कौन कौन से अदर चीजें हैं जो ए बी में कवर नहीं होंगी. दे विल आल्सो कंसीडर्ड एज वर्चुअल डिजिटल एसेट. Fifth things have been explained for the purpose. Non-fungible token means any such digital asset as the central government may by notification in the official gazette specify. As I said, non-fungible assets are to be specified by the government by way of separate notification. Second thing, they have already explained, currency, foreign currency and Indian currency shall have the same meaning as respectively assigned to them in FEMA. So since it is not a tax on foreign currency, so they have made it clear that only those currencies which have been defined as currency, foreign currency, and Indian currency under FEMA are exempt from this taxation. So what is a tax? So now we know that what is a virtual digital asset to an extent. So we must know how much tax we have to pay on the transaction. Where the total income of an SSE includes any income from transfer of any virtual digital asset, the income tax payable shall be the aggregate of. अगर आप इसको इसमें technical jargon में नहीं जाएं, तो it is like 30% of the tax, 30% of the transaction value you have to pay as tax on virtual digital asset. Now हमारे जो सामने students भी होंगे, तो उनके दिमाग में आएगा कि टैक्स किस वैल्यू पे पड़ेगा, सेल वैल्यू पे पड़ेगा, परचेज वैल्यू पे पड़ेगा, किस पे पड़ेगा? तो it is on transfer value. We have to understand that what is transfer value. Transfer value means suppose I am buying something against virtual digital asset. I am paying Bitcoin and I am buying an asset, right? Then जो उसकी Bitcoin की वैल्यू होगी, जो कंसिडरेशन हमको मिल रहा है, उसके बेसिस पे हम डिसाइड करेंगे उसकी वैल्यू क्या है, और उस पे हमको 30% टैक्स ट्रांसफर वैल्यू पे देना होगा. नेक्स्ट स्लाइड पे चलते हैं. Notwithstanding anything contained in any of the provision of this act, no deduction in respect of any expenditure. अब स्टूडेंट्स के लिए काफी इंटरेस्टिंग है अगर इसको थोड़ा सा अच्छे से समझेंगे कि whenever we are doing any business, all expenses of the business are allowed for computing taxable income of that business for the purpose of paying income tax thereon. But in this case, suppose I'm doing nothing, I'm not a chartered accountant, I'm not doing anything, but I have funds to invest in cryptocurrencies, right? And I'm making investment, then I'm holding it, I have my own office, I have my own setup, and my office is managing all the managing this show, and I'm making a profit, and I want to pay tax on the net income, means income minus all expenses. But this is not the case with this business. Suppose you are doing business of holding a virtual digital asset and selling it, then you will not get deduction of expenses incurred on it, right? Like I am a chartered accountant, I have my staff, I pay salary to them, I am allowed deduction of the salary paid to them. But in this case, I'll not be allowed any deduction for that. Not neither salary, not electricity, nor office rent, nothing. The only value which is allowed is as a deduction is the value I pay for purchasing it. Suppose I purchase it for 50 lakh and I sell it for 60 lakh, then 10 lakh is taxable. But in case of other business, suppose I am earning as a chartered accountant 60 lakh and I am spending 50 lakh, then net profit will be just 10 lakh, and for on that I have to pay tax. सेकेंड वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग, जब आप नॉर्मल बिजनेस करते हैं तो सपोज आपको उस बिजनेस में लॉस होता है, किसी दूसरे बिजनेस में प्रॉफिट होता है. आई एम डूइंग टू बिजनेसेस ए एंड बी. ए बिजनेस मेक्स प्रॉफिट ऑफ 10 lakh, बी बिजनेस इज मेकिंग लॉस ऑफ 5 lakh, देन आई हैव टू पे टैक्स ऑन नेट इनकम ऑफ टू बिजनेसेस. 10 lakh minus 5 lakh, that is 5 lakh on which I have to pay tax. But if I am doing this business, then and any other regular business like chartered accountant, then suppose chartered accountant business में हमारा profit हो रहा है 10 lakh, हमारा जो ये virtual digital asset पे जो business है हमारा उसमें profit हो रहा है sorry loss हो रहा है 5 lakh, then I have to pay tax on CA business that is on 10 lakh, and this virtual digital asset का जो business है हमारा जिसमें loss हो रहा है 5 lakh, वो adjust नहीं होगा हमारे इस profit से. जबकि अगर मैं एज ए चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट ये बिजनेस कर रहा हूँ, शेयर ट्रेडिंग कर रहा हूँ, शेयर ट्रेडिंग में कोई लॉस होता है तो हमारे सीए बिजनेस के प्रॉफिट से माइनस करके नेट अमाउंट पे मुझे टैक्स देना है. दिस इज द वेरी आई थिंक in future government will reconsider it, and I'm hopeful that in future we will be allowed expenses against this business as well. Further, जो नॉर्मल हमारा बिजनेस होता है उसमें if we incur any loss for a particular financial year, then we are allowed to carry forward this loss to next year, so that in next 8 years, whenever we are having profit, we can adjust this loss and the net amount is taxable. But in this business, it is not so. You have to pay tax on the transfer value, means sale value minus purchase value, the net amount is taxable. So no set off against other business, no set off against other income, and not even carry forward to next year. For सपोज आपको करंट ईयर में लॉस हो रहा है, आप चाहते हैं कि नेक्स्ट ईयर के जो वर्चुअल डिजिटल एसेट को जो प्रॉफिट होगा उसमें से आप माइनस करके टैक्स पे करना चाहते हैं, इट इज नॉट अलाउड. नेक्स्ट स्लाइड पे चलते हैं. गिफ्ट ऑफ वर्चुअल डिजिटल एसेट. So it is normal as in case of any other gift of any other asset like building, land, cash, jewelry. It is the same. Gift of virtual digital asset is also proposed to be taxed in the hands of recipients. Suppose आपको कोई free of cost virtual digital asset cryptocurrencies या कोई और currency आपको जो है gift करता है, in that case it is taxable in the hands of the recipient. मतलब जो ट्रांसफर करेगा उसको नहीं होगा, जो ट्रांसफर ही होगा उसको टैक्स देना होगा उसके ऊपर. And it is normal as in any other case. And for this purpose, they have amended section 56, जहाँ पे सारे gifts taxable होते हैं. Further, in order to provide for taxes. Next slide, please. Further, in order to provide for taxing of gifting of virtual digital asset, it is also proposed to amend explanation to clause 10 of subsection 2 of section 56 of the Act. Now the expression property shall have the same meaning as assigned to it in clause D of explanation to clause 7, and it shall include virtual digital asset. Means it has been considered as any other property for the purpose of making it taxable in the hands of the recipient. If you receive it free of cost or you are paying less value, then it is taxable in the hands of recipient. This amendment will take effect from 1st April 2023, and therefore it will be applicable for assessment year 22-23 and subsequent years. Now the next slide talks about TDS on transfer of virtual digital asset. We all understand, I mean, whoever is working with any organization and getting salary must be getting salary after TDS. And we know that there are so many transactions on which this TDS provision is applicable. The same provision, I mean, same kind of provision has been made applicable on transfer of virtual digital asset as well. And for that purpose, a new section 194 as has been inserted, and it says that any person responsible for paying to a resident any sum by way of consideration for transfer of a virtual digital asset shall at the time of credit of such sum to the account of the resident or at the time of payment of such sum by any mode whichever is earlier deduct an amount equal to 1% of such sum as income tax thereon. इसमें आप बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट एक बीच में वर्ड है रेजिडेंट, राइट? आपने देखा कि जब ये ट्रांसफर होगा फ्रॉम वन पर्सन टू अनदर पर्सन, और जो ट्रांसफरी है वो पेमेंट करेगा ट्रांसफरर को, और उसके अकाउंट में जो पैसा पहुंचेगा वो अगर रेजिडेंट है तो 1% का टीडीएस है. तो हमारे दिमाग में क्वेश्चन आ सकता है कि अगर वो नॉन रेजिडेंट है तो क्या हमको उस पर टीडीएस नहीं काटना है? नहीं. Then that TDS will not be covered by 194 as that will be covered by 195. Section 195 is separately there for non-residents, for payments to non-residents. So we should not get confused that this TDS is applicable only on if the person who is transferring the virtual digital asset is resident, then only it is applicable. Yes, this is this particular section 194 is applicable for residents only, but if the person who is transferring virtual digital asset is non-resident, then the provisions of 195 will be applicable. What is the difference? Basic difference. Here, the percentage is specified 1%, but in case of 195, the person who is making payment has to calculate the total value. I mean, जो 30% है उसका जो टैक्स टोटल बन रहा है, वो टोटल टैक्स उसको यहाँ पर काटना पड़ेगा. This is the basic difference. अगर नॉन रेजिडेंट को पेमेंट कर रहे हैं then 30%, अगर रेजिडेंट को कर रहे हैं तो 1% का TDS लगेगा. If you go to next slide, TDS is also applicable on consideration paid in kind for transfer of virtual digital asset. In kind क्या होता है? Suppose I am buying virtual digital asset cryptocurrencies for and making payment in Indian currency, then it is अगेंस्ट कैश. बस बट उसके केस में क्या है कि सपोज मैं अपना ऑफिस, अपना फ्लैट, अपना घर या कुछ भी उसको दे रहा हूँ या कोई और फॉर्म में पेमेंट कर रहा हूँ, सो गोल्ड पे कर रहा हूँ फॉर बाइंग अ वर्चुअल डिजिटल एसेट, देन इट इज कॉल्ड एज पेमेंट इन कंसिडरेशन पेड इन काइंड. तो वी शुड नॉट गेट कंफ्यूज कि जब हम उसके अकाउंट में बैंक में पेमेंट करेंगे या कैश पेमेंट करेंगे देन ओनली टीडीएस इज एप्लीकेबल. इट इज एप्लीकेबल इवन व्हेन वी आर मेकिंग द पेमेंट थ्रू इन काइंड. means other than cash, अगर उसका consideration pay कर रहे हैं, then also the TDS is applicable. Now, some exemption has been given for small amounts for a specified person. Value or aggregate value of such consideration does not exceed 50,000 rupees during the financial year. अभी specified person क्या होता है आगे slide में हम आपको बताएंगे. तो अगर specified person है तो उस केस में क्या है कि आपको transaction की value 50,000 अगर है, जो बहुत रेयर केसेस में होगी अगर उसका पार्ट्स में बेच रहे हैं, अगर 50,000 उसकी कंसिडरेशन वैल्यू है, देन स्पेसिफाइड पर्सन है, उस केस में आपका टीडीएस एप्लीकेबल नहीं होगा, यानी कि जो 1% टीडीएस काट करके पेमेंट करना है, दैट प्रोविजन इज नॉट एप्लीकेबल इफ द ट्रांजैक्शन वैल्यू इज इन अ फाइनेंशियल ईयर। मींस ऐसा है कि अगर आप सपोज 10 ट्रांजैक्शन करते हैं तो 10 को ऐड करके आपको देखना होगा कि टोटल वैल्यू और उसकी 50,000 जैसे ही क्रॉस करेगी तो इमीडिएटली टीडीएस एप्लीकेबल हो जाएगा। ये वैल्यू जो है नॉन स्पेसिफाइड पर्सन के केस में और कम कर दी गई है। इट हैज बीन reduced from 50,000 to 10,000 for a particular financial year. And if we go to next slide, then TDS on transfer of virtual distances for the purpose of TDS under section 194, a specified person has been defined, and they are individual, HUF. Just 2 categories have been considered, whereas we know that there are so many categories of person in income tax act, but only 2 categories have been considered, individual and HUF. Having business professional income not exceeding, if business not exceeding 1 crore and if profession not exceeding 50 lakh, means अगर कोई individual and HUF कोई business या professional income है उसकी और business अगर कर रहा है तो 1 करोड़ से 1 करोड़ तक उसकी बिजनेस रिसीट्स हैं और प्रोफेशन कर रहा है तो उसकी प्रोफेशनल रिसीट्स 50 लाख तक है, तो उस केस में वो he will be called स्पेसिफाइड पर्सन। मींस अगर वो 50,000 तक की वैल्यू का ट्रांजैक्शन करेगा तो उस पर टीडीएस नहीं लगेगा, 50,000 से ऊपर करेगा पर्टिकुलर फाइनेंशियल ईयर में तो टीडीएस एप्लीकेबल होगा। दूसरी कैटेगरी है स्पेसिफाइड पर्सन की, इंडिविजुअल एंड एचयूएफ हैविंग नो इनकम फ्रॉम बिजनेस और प्रोफेशन। मींस वो टोटली एग्जाम कर दिया, अगर इनकम फ्रॉम बिजनेस प्रोफेशन से कोई इनकम नहीं है तो आपका वो स्पेसिफाइड पर्सन हो जाएगा। उस केस में जो टर्नओवर की लिमिट है वो नहीं रहेगी, यानी कि ऐसा पर्सन जो इंडिविजुअल है, एचयूएफ है और बिजनेस या प्रोफेशनल इनकम नहीं है, उस केस में अगर ट्रांजेक्शन की वैल्यू उसकी 50,000 तक की है तो उस पर टीडीएस नहीं होगा। 50,000 से एक्सीड करेगा इन ए फाइनेंशियल ईयर, देन टीडीएस एट द रेट ऑफ 1% विल बी एप्लीकेबल। Now the question is whether this taxation will make cryptocurrencies legal in India. Can anyone answer this question? Anyone from the audience? Himashi, can we ask anyone if anyone want to answer this question? Will it make the cryptocurrencies legal in India? Suppose government of India has made, started taxing this transaction, whether it will make the transaction legal in India or not?
Yes, sir.
No,
and
sir.
anyone from the audience can wants to answer this question, they can.
It will not legalize, sir.
It will not legalize.
It will not legalize cryptocurrency.
Why it is so? I mean, what is the logic behind your statement?
They are launching their own currency, sir, but they are not legalizing the cryptocurrency because, you know, the regulation part will be difficult because we are not the authorized person who are, you know, issuing this currency.
Okay. Any other person who want to say something on this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, please tell.
So on the budget day, they have said that they will impose the tax on the digital asset, but they had not commonly said that it will be imposed on the cryptocurrency. And the taxation part will also be difficult for all the individuals who are investing on that. And the government is also issuing their own currency just because that only. And all the corruption in the other cities are also negotiation in the cryptos.
I'm happy that students are aware about this. Anyone else, please? Himashi, anyone else, if you want to say anything on this?
No, sir, please continue.
Yes. So, friends, basically, taxation does not make anything legal or illegal in India. taxation is different and legality of that transaction or illegality of that transaction is different. But as of now, there is no law which makes these transactions illegal, right? Even if we are not able to control the transactions, then also it is not illegal in India, right? अभी last मुझे लगता है last 2 years में कोई स्टेट बैंक का सर्कुलर भी आया था कि अगर आप इसमें ट्रांजेक्शन करेंगे तो we will not do this, we will not do that, but ultimately वो सर्कुलर भी withdraw हो गया था. Means government is not against it. There is no control over it as of now. In the form of I mean suppose हिमांशी ने कहीं इन्वेस्ट किया उसमें किसी को 1 करोड़ रुपए लगाए बिटकॉइन में या किसी दूसरी करेंसी वर्चुअल डिजिटल करेंसी में और हिमांशी को लॉस हो जाता है, राइट? तो गवर्नमेंट का उस पर ऐसा कोई कंट्रोल नहीं कि वो लॉस हो किसी तरह से या कोई हिमांशी को चीट करता है तो कहीं से गवर्नमेंट ऐसा कुछ लॉ बना ले कि उसमें जिसने भी चीटिंग करी है उसको पनिश करे. हाँ, नो डाउट अगर वो चीट करने वाला इंडियन है तो उसको अदर लॉज में पनिश किया जाएगा, बट गवर्नमेंट के पास ऐसा कंट्रोल नहीं कि कोई फॉरेनर अगर आपको चीट करता है तो उसमें आपको हेल्प कर पाए, राइट? बट गवर्नमेंट कहीं भी इस चीज को रोक नहीं रही है, राइट? कि आप इसको यहाँ पे इंडिया में ट्रेड नहीं कर सकते हैं, ऐसा कोई लॉ आपको प्रोहिबिट नहीं करता है. प्लस गवर्नमेंट अपनी करेंसी जब लेकर के आएगी वर्चुअल डिजिटल करेंसी थ्रू आरबीआई, तो उस केस में आपको जो बेनिफिट होगा दैट इज ओनली कि हाँ जब आप वो गवर्नमेंट की करेंसी होगी, जैसे आप इंडियन नोट देखते हैं, कोई भी भारत का जो रुपया देखते हैं, तो उसमें आरबीआई का गवर्नर एक गारंटी देता है कि आई प्रॉमिस टू पे टू द बेयरर ऑफ दिस रुपी अ सम ऑफ रुपीज, इतना जितने भी रुपए का वो नोट होता है. आई एम होपफुल कि जब वो जो वर्चुअल डिजिटल करेंसी जब इंडियन गवर्नमेंट लाएगी तो उस पर आपको एटलीस्ट ये गारंटी होगी कि हाँ भाई ठीक है, इतना वैल्यू जो उसमें जो है जो भी उसकी करंट मार्केट वैल्यू होगी वो आपको रियलाइज हो जाएगी, बिकॉज अल्टीमेटली उसका अगर पीछे जो है गवर्नमेंट या आरबीआई है. ऐसा बाकी जो है करेंसीज के पीछे नहीं होगा. बट लेट मी मेक इट वेरी क्लियर दैट नो सच ट्रांजैक्शन इज इलीगल एज ऑफ नाउ, राइट? ओनली टैक्सेशन part has been regularized because earlier there were confusion कि ये कैपिटल गेन होगा या बिजनेस इनकम होगी, राइट? कौन से खर्चे अलाउ होंगे, कौन से खर्चे अलाउ नहीं होंगे. अब वो सारी चीजें जितने भी कंफ्यूजन से वो दूर हो गए कि नो इट इज नॉट अ कैपिटल गेन, इट इज नॉट अ क्या नाम है बिजनेस इनकम, वॉट एवर इट इज टैक्सेबल एट द रेट ऑफ 30%. थोड़ा सा हार्श है एज ऑफ नाउ कि भाई कई लोग मैंने पर्सनली भी जानता हूँ कि जो लोग बिजनेस कर रहे हैं इसका अल्टीमेटली वो कुछ भी नहीं करते हैं, सिर्फ इसी का बिजनेस कर रहे हैं, वो फुल टाइम इसमें लगा रहे हैं, वो काफी सारा स्टाफ हायर कर रखा है, वो कभी दुबई जाते हैं, कभी यहाँ जाते हैं, कभी जाते हैं जस्ट फॉर दिस वर्चुअल डिजिटल एसेट, और वो सारे एक्सपेंसेस अलाउ नहीं होंगे. तो मुझे लगता है कई बॉडीज ऐसी हैं जो इसको रिप्रेजेंट करेंगे बिफोर द गवर्नमेंट, एंड इन फ्यूचर वी विल बी एबल टू सी मे बी इन द नेक्स्ट बजट और मे बी इन द any midterm, any notification may come, yes, now we are allowing these expenses against this income. So this is all I had to tell you about taxation of virtual digital assets. And once again, I am thankful to the Jagran Institute for inviting me and making me a part of this program. Thank you so much. Thank you, Himanshi.
Thank you, Mr. Pandey. Mr. Pandey, I have a small question. Can I please?
Yeah, please.
Recently, I'm seeing a trend that a lot of millennials, especially the students and young budding people, are interested in investing in cryptocurrencies. I appreciate that you have cleared a lot of doubts in the minds of the students right here joining us. I recently had word with a group of students, and they were very excited and telling me, ma'am, here in India, cryptocurrency is not being given so much of boost, but in other countries it is legal to trade, and we like to invest over there and trade. So I just want to understand, is it possible for these students to or somebody to open a trading account in some other country via maybe a mediator or directly what the laws permit, and they can go and trade, and that would be considered legal over here or would be taxed or not?
Divya ma'am, there is a scheme called a liberalized remittance scheme under FEMA, right? And that allows $250,000 per year to be transmitted for any purpose, right? You just need to inform that what will you do with this money. Otherwise, there is no restriction. You just go to your banker, right? Talk to them, and they will tell the formalities, and you can transfer your amount, and you can do anything with your money.
That right? Can be traded also.
Government is interested that if you are, yes, it can be traded also. There is no restriction. You can do anything with your 250,000, right? and government is interested. Suppose you earn anything out of that $250,000. I mean, whatever amount you transfer, then you just need to pay tax in India.
Okay. Okay. So
Right?
there
There's
must
no
be some
restriction.
taxation plan.
Yes, no, taxation is there. Now it is well known to each one of us. But you can transfer up to $250,000 per financial year, and you can do trading there. And whatever amount you earn there, you have to pay tax on that earning in India.
Okay, that's great. I think that answers this question.
Yeah, there is a lot of confusion that so many consultants tell that trading of cryptocurrency outside India by Indians is not legal. Trading of currency in India by Indians is not allowed. But there is no such control. I mean, there is no such rule which prohibits you from trading in India or out of India.
Okay, so they can go and open a trading account in another country. They can trade, and they have a limit till 250,000, and they need to pay the tax.
Ma'am, limit is for transmitting amount from India to another country, right?
Okay.
This is a liberalized scheme where nobody asks you the question कि क्यों कर रहे हो, क्या कर रहे हो. You just need to tell. Yes, of course you have to tell कि हाँ इस purpose से ले जा रहे हैं 250,000, but you can transfer, and after transferring you can do trading there.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Himanshi, if there are no other questions, you can continue, please.
Yes, ma'am. I think Sir has cleared all our queries. So thank you, sir, for your presence and wise words. Indeed, it is a learning session for all. And thank you. I am thankful for your valuable time and support in this session. We appreciate for all your experience and understanding. I would like to request our guest to present a memento and a certificate.
Thank you so much, Himanshi and everybody. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker for the day is CS Gopesh Sahu Sir. He is a qualified company secretary and a law graduate with about 14 years of post-qualification experience in handling legal and corporate governance matters. He has quality exposure and experience in handling SME IPO, corporate restructuring, including amalgamation and takeover of listed companies, secretarial audits of listed entities, and appearances before NCLT in various corporate law matters. He was appointed as chairman of Kanpur chapter of the ICSI in year 2019-2020 and in the year 2020 as the chairman PCS committee of Kanpur chapter of ICSI. He was a faculty member of professional level student at classes organized by Kanpur chapter of ICSI from 2011 to 2014. And he also have a credit of taking 50+ sessions as guest speakers on SME IPO, corporate governance, LLP, secretarial standards, interpretation of statutes, and other topics of professional interest organized by chapters of ICSI, Chapter of Cost and Management Accountants of India, universities, colleges, and other management institutes. Now, I would kindly request him to enlighten us with his knowledge on the Union Budget 2022.
Thank you, Mashi, for the wonderful introduction of mine. It's indeed a great pleasure to have with all of you and share my views and takes on the Union Budget 2020. I just take a few minutes. In the meantime, I try to share the PPT which I would like to present. Is the presentation visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. So I had been asked to share my take on the Union Budget 2022, and I would like to emphasize on the impact of the Union Budget on the corporate world, and the repercussion which is going to be taken in the next few years. Let's quickly read a statement which has given by our Honorable Finance Minister, Srimati Nirmala Sitharamanji. She had said, the overall sharp rebound and recovery of the economy is reflected of our country's strong resilience, and India's economic growth in the current year is estimated to be 9.2%, highest among all large economies. Now, this was the statement given by Nirmala Sitharamanji. We all have witnessed the last few years was quite challenging due to pandemic, COVID-19, and not only our economy, but the economy of the entire world was being shattered due to this pandemic. Before the pandemic, our Honorable Prime Minister had shared with us vision for taking India's economy as a 5 trillion economy. Though the hurdle was being caused, challenge was posed due to this pandemic, but still we are not far behind, though period might be extended to a certain years, but still we are hopeful to achieve that target. Now, I think in the past session taken by the previous speakers, I have quite insight on the taxation aspects. The direct taxes, indirect taxes have been shared with you. I would like to take you to a different approach. How this proposed budget would have some positive impact on the corporate world. As this budget has now, a small disclaimer, the opinion or the statement which I am giving is my personal, it's not a reflective of the institute from which I belong. A little disclaimer from my side. See, this entire budget was with an objective of, so am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Continue.
So the entire budget was growth oriented, and it was focused as a pro-development budget. Why? Because the basic intent was to laying a foundation for the next 25 years. As the Honorable Prime Minister has already been said, that we are entering into the Amrit Kal, we are celebrating the 75th year of independence, and now the vision has came for the next 25 years. So the mindset is very clear with the government and the administrative agencies that the vision is not to seek the growth and promotion of our economy, of our country for the next 2 or 3 years, but the vision is clear cut to make a stronghold in the world economy in the next 25 years. So when the vision was, quite wide, the intent, object, and the proposals of the budget has also been reflective of the same very idea. There were 4 basic pillars which have been inculcated in this budget. Like the foremost was main for
Excuse me, sir. You are not audible.
Sir, please off your video. Sir, please rejoin.
Anil sir, I believe Gopesh ji is not there.
Sir,
Please
she left.
send a message.
Any message?
Ask Mr. Pawan to please contact Mr. Gopesh once again. See.
I'm contacting. He will be with us soon.
Yes, please. I think there is a network glitch.
All the homework. नहीं लग रहा
It's a request. It's a request to all the participants. Please unmute yourself. We are facing some network glitches. If in the meantime, if anyone have any question, they can write in the chat box.
Dear students, it seems that there is some network issue from Mr. Gopesh Sahuji's side. We'll wait for 2-3 minutes, else, since we are unable to connect with him, else we can continue the session, and after break, you all should be ready to give your own presentations, right? We'll wait for 2-3 minutes. In the meanwhile, you can just see anything to be asked. Dear students and the participants, it seems that Mr. Gopesh Sahu is facing some technical problem due to which he is not able to reconnect with us. We will see that after lunch, if sir is able to come back again on network, we can continue with the participation. In the meanwhile, I think we should proceed ahead, and I would like to just sum up with the fact that with the thank you note also to our expert speakers, CA DC Shukla ji, Mr. Ashito Sinha ji, CS Gopesh Sahu ji, and CA Abhishek Pandey ji for their valuable time and contribution towards this symposium. Though I understand that due to certain technical glitches, we are unable to hear our expert Gopesh Sahu ji. But their simple way of deciphering the various aspects and provisions of union budget has helped us to understand it better. Even the survey report on budget 2022 expectations presented by MBA student Ishta in the starting is indeed a well-researched work. I compliment the students' efforts in understanding and laying down the comparisons also. And while I was listening to various guest speakers today, I was looking into the economic indicators also to have a better understanding and discussion. And as per that, financial year 21-22, economy is expected to grow at 9.2%. which is expected to be followed by 8 to 8.5% growth in financial year 22-23. Though we also see that higher vaccine coverage is a strength, yet risk of severe infection, supply side disruptions which are taking place, weak labor market due to this pandemic, and inflation remains the key concern. Even we cannot deny, after hearing everybody, that India is recovering. And India's recovery is getting a boost from rising infra spend, robust experts, strong capital flows, and an impressive vaccination rate. Students, in such situations, it's important to monitor the inflation trend and a well-coordinated monetary and fiscal policy to ensure a sustained recovery. Impetus to infrastructure development and focus on PM Gati Shakti will also bring transformation and increase efficiency. As we just heard Mr. Pandey, that along with digital push to financial services and digital banking units. Budget 2022 is said to be a very balanced budget, keeping long-term goals and economic growth in mind. Even the pandemic situation has not shackled down our economy. We are controlled, balanced, and empowered to handle any circumstances. In fact, just to sum up, I am indeed very thankful to our Vice Chairperson, Mrs. Ritu Gupta ji, for encouraging and supporting us to conduct such student stimulating activities. Our CEO, Dr. Jayan Gupta ji, who is an avid reader and analyst of economic activities and has always been our guiding light. I'm also thankful to all my faculty and staff to be being the best mentor to our students and best colleagues in bringing together such events. And with their support and cooperation, we have been coming up to such seminars, symposium, and conferences very often. Students, we look forward to your presentation on various topics under Union Budget. Excited to assimilate your way of analysis and deciphering of budget from various angles. Wishing you all the best, happy learning, stay safe, and have a great day. Himanshi, can you just please inform the students about after break activities?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. I think we all have been benefited by this session. It is definitely the best course of action taken by our institute. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to take a short break for 30 minutes. We will begin our next session shortly.